We good? Fuck it, send it.
All right, Chris. I got the $1 million, or I should say, multi-billion-dollar question.
Are you sure it's not $1 trillion question?
It could be $1 trillion question too.
What is it?
Should we invade? We, as in the United States, invade Greenland?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Let's hear it. Why?
I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why, man. The main question is why all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think that this is a instant thing. They think that Donald Trump woke up, on a Monday morning and decided, hey, you know what? Let's go invade Greenland for absolute no reason. But a lot of people are not aware that this has been an ongoing, gradual talk, right, in acquiring Greenland for a very long time. And I have the dates right here. I think it was the U.S. government showed interest in acquiring Greenland in 1867, 1910, 1946, 55, 2019, and again now. The question is, why is it now that is becoming a major topic of geopolitics?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I think the 1867.
Seven.
I think that was for purchase, right? That was
Mm-hmm.
around the time, somewhere around the time we purchased Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it was after. I think. And but again, that was a purchase.
Yeah.
This could be a takeover.
I mean, it could, let's look at why why the United States of America wants to invade Greenland.
Mhm.
And I mean, at least I think that it has to deal with national security on a the most major perspective. But aside from from national security, it also has to deal with new trade routes and of course rare minerals. And if you look at the rare minerals, and I talked to you about this mineral for a while now because I'm eyeballing the mining companies that specialize in it. It's called neodymium,
Mhm.
and that mineral is pretty much used in element is used in almost any type of modern electronic, and especially in military equipment. In modern military equipment, it's used in fighter jets. It's used in precision guidance systems for missiles.
Mhm.
It's used in EV. It's used in wind turbine. It's used in anything. And China, up to this point, and I mean by up to this point, if we do invade Greenland, we will have a big market share of it as well. But up till this point, China controls most of that, not just supply, but the refining of that specific element. And I think I think that's fine if we have a great trade relationship with China, but we don't. And in 2025, when China restricted exports of rare minerals, remember that time?
Yep.
It became a big deal, and then Trump intensified his tariffs against China.
Mhm.
I think it was at that moment that the United States government realized that, hey, we can't be fucking around anymore. Because if we don't have access to those rare minerals, then foreign governments, enemies of the United States of America, are going to have better military equipment than we do. We can have all the money in the world, which we do, right, in terms of budget and spending for military enhancement. But if we don't have access to the material to expand our military equipment, then all that funding is useless. And it all kind of makes sense if you look at it now more than ever. You have, I believe in 2027, the budget has been approved for what, $1.5 trillion, dollars,
Mhm.
the largest military budget that we've ever seen in the United States. And it sort of makes sense to me now that now we're eyeballing Greenland, right? Rare minerals, essential trade routes, and the budget. So when you analyze all those, um, when you look at all those three, it kind of makes sense why we need to invade Greenland.
Well, in your perspective, what does that look like?
Well,
Like for example, is it a territory? Is it the 51st state, 52nd state? Depending if we take over Canada. So, what does that look like?
I don't think um, it's tough. It's tough to predict how we're going to acquire Greenland. But I was doing some research earlier that kind of hit the dome. And in order for us to buy Greenland, right, we have to acquire it from Denmark. And as I'm digging deeper into this topic, I came across some interesting movements that Greenland had. You know, there was a time when Greenland sought independence from Denmark, and they never got it, right? So, in order for us to buy
Is
Greenland,
that 79, I think, or
I wouldn't be able to tell you the year,
yeah.
but if we want to buy Greenland, we have to get it from Denmark.
Mhm.
And if Denmark says no, then the only other option that we can buy Greenland is if Greenland uh, becomes independent away from Denmark, and then we have a deal with Greenland. But that process is going to take such a long time that it's almost off the table.
Right.
So the only way that we can possibly acquire Greenland is either, I mean, if
Russia's already been hovering over there.
of course, I mean,
Yeah.
you know how many times the Russian Air Force and the U.S. Air Force come
Very close with
very close with
miles.
each other with
Yeah.
in Alaska.
Yeah.
And if you look at all the Soviet Union bases, they used to be stationed in the Arctic region.
Mhm.
Within the recent years, Putin reopened most of them, if
Mhm.
not all of them. And we only have, I believe, one base in Greenland right now, which is a Space Force base.
Yeah, it used to be an old
Hmm.
Air Force base
Yeah,
up north.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But we used to have a lot more.
Funny thing on that, just just a random fact. Apparently, we lost a hydrogen bomb over there. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. That was a big you know, Denmark. We're paying for the cleanup, but
Yeah.
Denmark is the one actually that's doing all the cleanup. And when we had that deal to establish a military presence in Greenland, there was a topic of discussion that said no nuclear.
Mhm.
And guess what we did? Nuclear.
Well, I mean, they were flying around
Hmm.
to create deterrence
Yeah.
back then in the 60s for the Soviet Union with hydrogen bombs. They were
Yeah.
literally flying around with hydrogen bombs.
Well, that was the thing. You know, it was during the Cold War.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
all about nuclear.
Things changed now.
Yeah.
Now you can launch them from different places and they
Yeah.
get there pretty quick.
I mean, yeah. It's. I don't know. The nuclear industry is changing. You
Yep.
know, I don't think we're gonna have a nuclear war, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
won't have a planet if we do.
Well, of course.
You know,
Of
but
course.
you know, we had a presence in Greenland as early as World War II. You know,
1941.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, Nazi Germany, they had stations all throughout Greenland, and they were using those stations to predict weather patterns so they can communicate with their U-boats.
Yep.
And we,
We had the treaty in 1951
mhm.
basically saying we could have basically any kind of weapons, military presence over there. Um,
That
ex-
was mostly for like the Soviet Union surveillance because it was becoming a threat at that time. It was slowly starting to become into the
r-
Cold War,
r-
early days of the Cold War.
right, regulated
Hmm.
under NATO
Yeah.
laws. Um, you know, the thing is like a lot of people don't realize like the presence has been there, and the history has been there. It's just people react so quickly to, it might be because Trump said it, it might be people that dislike Trump and I'm always, I'm always for America winning. I don't care who does good, and who's in the administration, whether it's Obama, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, Bush, as long as they're doing something good and positive.
Hmm.
Because this is my belief. Obviously, it's opinion. America doing good usually is good for the balance and the goodness of the world. So
Most of the time.
most of the
Most
time,
of the
but
time.
like, hey, it's not perfect, right? We've established that before. We've had this conversation when we were talking about Venezuela.
The big question is that why is it now that the media is making such a big deal about it, right? It's almost, and in my opinion, is because the ice is melting and
Mhm.
is becoming urgent matter, right? If let's go back to 1867, we had a lot of ice in the Arctic Circle. Even if we would have bought um, Greenland in 1867, we wouldn't been able to do anything with it, right? Because it's just a big chunk of ice. But now that the ice is melting, we have access to that region. We have access to the Arctic Ocean,
Right.
right? And I think it is why now that we as not we exactly, but the government is taking drastic measures to get essentially get control of Greenland. because
the maritime and
yeah,
the trade routes and
and that's
yeah,
why it's abrupt, and
yeah.
the media doesn't like abrupt. That's the problem, So I'm I don't know. I guess we'll find out and we'll see how this escalates. Um, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. China's not happy, Putin is not happy, and Trump himself said that he likes he likes Putin, he likes Xi Jinping, right? But we we don't want to be neighbors with them. I mean, even though we are neighbors with Russia. So,
Right. Well, I mean, it's the idea is to control the Western Hemisphere,
mhm,
and I think America should be in control of the Western Hemisphere, because um, it's the powerhouse, and it goes back to kind of the Monroe Doctrine, which also talks about that as well too. And we I don't think like I think China tried to control or try to get involved in the Panama Canal.
mhm.
It has no business in the Panama Canal. You know, I
Well,
don't I don't in the sense that controlling it, trying to take it. Which same thing with geographically Greenland
mhm,
is part of North America, often because it's run by Denmark as an autonomous, basically, region, kinda, not fully run by Denmark, I guess, anymore. Uh, People often mistake it for being a European, or a
mhm.
part of the European continent, or
Yeah.
that part of the world. It's not.
I mean, China they always kind of they want to get involvement in it in everything. And in 2018, 2019, China already attempted to get involved in Greenland. The Greenland needed to build more airports, and China put forward a bid, essentially a Chinese-backed company, which essentially was a construction company.
Mhm,
They put a bid to develop all the airports in
mhm,
Greenland.
mhm.
And when the United States of America found out about that, they went over to Denmark and said, "Shit ain't gonna slide."
Right.
So we already have,
They try to do that in Panama too. They try to get involved in the
of course,
operations of the canal,
because that's what they do.
right?
They fund this company, they fund these countries with small GDPs
And they
because
give them loans.
they give them
Yeah.
loans, and they know that most likely they're gonna
Default.
default. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they know they're going to default on those payments,
Mhm.
and that gives them right to that region.
Right. They're doing that in the African coastline right now.
That's what they wanted to do in Greenland in 1819.
Yep.
And the United States stepped in and said, no, this shit ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
So if we're going to jump into this topic, there was a big discussion by a reporter asked Trump, right? He's like, well, we have a bunch of treaties with Greenland and with Denmark. Why not just continuing the treaties with them? Why do we need to own the actual land? And Trump made a good statement. He said that, hey, you know what? You're not going to take care of something you own. You lease as good as the one you own, right?
Yeah.
And going back to that same question from the reporter, right? If we have a lease, if we have a treaty, that never stopped China from coming in and trying to do economic business with Greenland.
You beat me to it. My question was gonna be that, hey, playing devil's advocate, this is what the opposition is gonna say.
Hmm.
They're gonna ask, hey, you have all this. You could have your military there. You could have everything there as United States, right? You already have a base there, Space Force, right? You have all these treaties with them. What else do you need? Let's say they give you the rights to grab minerals as well too, and
Hmm.
resources. They give you all that stuff. What's the issue?
I mean, first of all, what the fuck is Space Force going to do? We need to have a Navy base there, not just a,
Well,
you know,
I mean, it was Air Force Base,
I
right?
mean, that one, yeah, but we
Right.
need to have a new Navy. You have to understand that that is a prime spot for a new Navy base because the Arctic is melting.
Let's say they give you that too. Why do you have to full on take it on? Take it, and you already answered that question, but
Well,
you could
yeah,
go deeper into it.
once again, when you own it, right? When you own a house, you can choose who your tenants are.
Hmm.
The same thing.
Right.
When you own the land, you can choose who you do business with.
Yeah.
And in 2018, 2019, China didn't hesitate to come in and attempt They knew what they were doing, but they didn't hesitate to come in and attempt to do economic business with Greenland, even though we had a treaty with them. They didn't give a fuck about it, right? And I think that's why Trump wants to own Greenland. So those kind of loopholes and gray areas don't exist anymore. And China has this big push, right? This big push that they consider themselves an Arctic country.
That's funny. They're not in
They're
the
not even close to it, but there's yeah, you can look into it. There's a big push for that idea, but China,
they're not in the Arctic Circle.
I know, you know what I mean. So the question is why? Why does China want to be part of an Arctic Circle so bad?
Mhm.
If it's not, if it's not a matter of national security,
Right.
So that's your $1 million question right there. Answer or $2 trillion question.
Possibly. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. You know, it's at the end of the day, I want to say it the way it is
Hmm.
that we need these resources, we need our presence there, and in return, that will make our defense better. That will make our allies stronger.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't get NATO, right? Why is NATO making such a big deal about it?
I mean, it's in writing, right? If you mess with one nation,
Hmm.
the treaty falls apart essentially in a way. Or
I
not
know,
falls
but
apart, you get kicked off, you get kicked out. But
N-
like
NATO relies on us.
uh, some argue that the US is NATO and NATO is the US, right? So,
I still think they rely on us. I think that NATO's, without American military power is kind of, you know,
that's what I mean.
not that strong.
That's what people say,
Yeah. And what do they think? They think that there's talks from individuals from NATO that if we move forward into Greenland, we're gonna pretty much destroy the NATO relationship, right?
Mhm.
That's exactly what Putin wants.
Right.
And if we're not part of NATO, what do you think? We think we're gonna give a fuck about Europe if Russia decides to move forward? Probably not. So once again, as the saying goes, don't bite the hand that feeds. You
Yeah.
know.
Yep. Absolutely. It's a it's kind of a I get it
Mm.
again from the opposite side. It's not really that clear as Venezuela, as a topic we,
Mhm.
discussed about last week.
Yeah.
That one's clear to me. It's clear to a lot of people. Well, I guess still not clear to some people. Um,
What?
we went in. We were trying to. This is a regime that's been aligning with the Soviets,
Mhm.
our adversaries, and they were basically there, and they were going to take over the resources. So that was kind of clear. And what we had to do over there is we had to do whatever we had to do, right? But
It
this is
it's
kind of a
different.
gray zone because involves allies. Denmark is an ally, right? So how do you go about that? I think some sort of dialogue should be there. Some sort of conversation should it shouldn't be the same way we treated um Venezuela or Maduro, right? Can't be like that. There should be some sort of, but I also understand it is a ticking time bomb, right? It's a matter of time, as you said. The ice is melting, the routes are opening up. Minerals and things like that. Those are essential. The good thing is China has these minerals, like you mentioned before. However, you need oil to process these,
Yeah, and we suffocated that.
right?
We really did.
So we're in good position
Oh
to
yeah,
make this move.
I think we hurt China hard
Yeah,
with Venezuela. We really did.
yeah.
But I don't know. I guess we'll find out what happens at the end of the day. It's a we'll see. What do
Uh,
you think the economic let's say we do invade Greenland. What type of economic opportunities do you think it'll open up? And I ask you this cuz from your real estate background. I'm curious.
well, I mean, real estate. It would make sense to buy real estate over there. I think the capital is Nuke. Some just basic facts about Greenland. The population is about 60,000, so it's not really populated at all.
Mhm.
80%, 88% of the population is Inuit. I believe that's how you pronounce it, and the rest is mix of European and Norse, people from Danish background.
You said 60,000 people?
Yeah,
Is that accurate?
roughly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. From
Well,
which I think
that's
around
not a big population at
no,
all.
not at all. That's smaller than a lot of towns in the U.S.
I know their main economy relies on fishing, and, I know for years America has been pushing, tourism
Right.
in that region, but I don't think we've seen anything.
I think exploring that side of the world would be. I mean, I like to travel the world, so and that's what it's gonna push investment and real estate
Mhm.
is tourism over there.
My biggest thing is that, when when we invaded Venezuela, just a few days after that invasion, Trump scheduled a meeting with oil execs.
Hmm.
And now, even though there's a little bit of turns out there's a bit of conflict between ExxonMobil and, Trump, and I think he said or he's not gonna let Exxon go into Venezuela, but, a lot of oil companies had a meeting, had a first they were open to the public, so they allowed media, and then they closed down, the room, and they had a private meeting, and, I believe within a few weeks, they're going to go into Venezuela and kinda game plan how they're gonna extract oil from the ground, right? Do you think that the same thing is gonna happen with Greenland? Let's say we do invade Greenland. Do you think he's gonna have a meeting with mining execs, an opportunity for mining companies to expand into Greenland, especially mining companies that specialize in rare minerals?
It would only make sense, right?
Hmm.
And these are all cues. I We talk with the younger generation, people around our age as well too. Hey, you need to pay attention to this stuff. Whether that's through stocks, whether that's through it's very important to stay up to date and
Hmm.
also read history before you make any judgments.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. People don't like I said, people think this is a new thing with Greenland. People think that Trump woke up one day and decided let's invade Greenland.
Yeah, he wants to become the king or something.
Yeah, they don't
It's
see
also it's
the
also the
history.
social media bullshit. I mean, we're also on it to be fair, but
Yeah, you know,
but at least hey, at least we're trying to put some good information out
it
there.
it blows my mind how much fake information you get from social media,
Yeah.
and it fucking looks real.
Yeah.
You seen this AI shit they push?
It's crazy.
It's insane. Sometimes I can't tell the difference if it's real or fake.
In the beginning, it was like I remember my parents telling me, "Hey, look what's happening." I'm like, "That's fake." That's obvious. But now it's gotten to a point where like I don't even know. You
Do you
know?
think people that have like a public presence, they wake up one morning and they look through social media and there's a video of them, it's AI and it's not really them, and they're like, "What the fuck? I don't
Yeah.
remember this.
Yeah.
How drunk did I get last night?"
Possibly,
It's
possibly.
like when Trump said, a reporter asked him a question and he was like, I don't know, it must have been AI generated.
Mhm.
That could be an excuse for shit you do and then regret later too.
That's true.
There's a
That's true.
picture of you, a video of you. What? No, that's AI.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have a way to prove it,
Yeah.
but who knows? It's
Yeah.
getting really cool
It's
what
getting
you can do with it.
getting pretty crazy.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, they have music, man. They can make songs out of AI and they can like think about this back in like before you had what do you call it? Like impersonators,
Mhm.
that could sing and kind of imitate a singer's voice. But now AI does that like a lot faster and
Mhm.
better.
Mhm.
It's insane. I've always been curious how AI is going to change show business. We're going to have like shows in the future with just full on performances of like Michael Jackson that's been AI generated, or Tupac that's been AI generated.
Remember the hologram Tupac?
Yeah. Yeah. I think they made fun of that in South Park too. You ever seen that episode?
I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
they brought him back. It was like a big episode of South Park where they were like making this holograms out of celebrities.
Yeah.
I think they were ahead of the game. They were ahead of time back then. That was
Yeah.
before this whole AI shit.
That's true. That's true.
But AI is changing a lot of things, man. And as AI progresses, at the same time, those rare minerals are more important than ever.
Yeah, I was about to just say that.
Yeah,
Yeah, going back to
you
Greenland.
know, people think it's silver.
Yeah.
I'm sure you need silver for some shit, but this rare minerals, man, that's where it's all at.
Yep.
This neodymium, some shit like that. I already lost it. It's a hard word to pronounce, you
It
know.
is. It
It's
is.
not like it's something you come across on a daily basis.
Especially for us immigrants.
Oh man, I always have a hard time with this type. But let me see. Right here, I had it. Neodymium.
Yeah.
It's a rare mineral that apparently, like, you make hardcore magnets out of it. It's needed in pretty much anything, And I was looking at the facts, and they're saying that the demand for it raised almost like from 2000 to 2025. It was almost up to 300% in global demand of that rare element. That's
Wow.
insane.
That's a big
Yeah.
increase.
Yeah, and there's only uh, a handful of in the United States. I think there's only one company. I think it's MP Materials or MP. Yeah, I think it's MP Materials. They're the only company that makes that element, or mines that element.
Hint, hint.
What?
I said hint, hint.
Not financial advice. I've been eyeballing a few of them. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I've been researching lately. Is finding companies that are going to be. I'm looking at companies that are gonna get those government contracts in
Mm-hmm.
Greenland.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yep.
Because oil has already kind of been established, right? You have Exxon, you have Chevron. Those kind of the main companies. They've been established, but mining companies, especially with this rare minerals and the modern way of refining those rare minerals, that's not an it's not an old business, right? It's a very new thing, right? And like this MP, uh, what is it? I think it's MP Minerals or MP Materials. Let me look it up. It's called, yeah, MP Materials. They were like $12, $13 a share just about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're at almost 65.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
pretty
big
big.
jump.
Yeah. In a
It,
year.
it's the same thing, like everyone's following the AI trend, and we're looking at companies like Nvidia that make chips, right? What about the shovels, right? So we're going back to another gold rush. Everyone's rushing for the gold, no one's paying attention for the shovels. Where do you get the shovels from?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at all these companies, yeah, this AI companies blew up, right? But then you have the raw material companies also blew up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the fiber companies that like the fiber optic cables.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know this element I'm talking about? Neodymium, DMM. Man, it's gonna drive me crazy. What is it? Neodymium,
Mm-hmm.
right? That material, that particular element is used, and don't ask me how, but it's used in the development of fiber optics, which is the fucking glass.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
it's the backbone, in my opinion, of the modern technological revolution.
Side note: they say the father of fiber optics was some Punjabi guy.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Nah,
He's a
seriously?
yes, sick guy. Yeah.
You know anything about him?
Oh,
Rich as fuck, I'll tell you that
yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah. He was. I think he was a scientist.
Was he out of that region or was he in America?
During that time when he created fiber optics,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know too much about it. I just remember reading that somewhere.
Hey, you got to look into it. That's right
Yeah.
up your alley.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of inventions that are made by like minority groups,
Right.
that are not covered as much. I
Right.
think they should,
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
it encourages kids to be, more educated and try to be inventors,
yeah.
scientists, and things like that.
Have you seen that controversy about ICE and the
Hmm.
shooting in Minneapolis?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Spit it out.
It's a
Let's hear
it's a
it.
controversy, man. It's I think I I'm gonna be honest here. It's always exaggerated and blown out of proportion. Not in the sense that hey, like individual lost,
Mm-hmm.
American citizen lost her life, right?
Yeah.
That's terrible, right? No one should be celebrating that. No one should be, you know. I understand both ends of it. Hey, possibly I can't tell you if she
Mm-hmm.
was trying to run the officer over, but it should have been just left at that,
Yeah.
right? It shouldn't been like the administration getting involved on the other end, the Democrat backed news channels,
Mm-hmm.
you know, spinning it the other way, and then you got Fox and CNN constantly battling it out.
Yeah,
Man, just leave it as what it is. Hey, look, we're gonna investigate. It was terrible. American citizen, a mother lost her life, and also it was an officer who did
mhm.
things based on his training. And we'll investigate and just leave it at that. Why do you got to make every single thing political?
That's the problem nowadays.
Yeah,
Everything has to, and I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. It should have been, hey, it happened. It shouldn't happen. We're gonna investigate it, and that's the end of it. But the media, they live off this shit.
yeah.
They love steering this bullshit up into this
Parasites,
world.
man.
They're a bunch of parasites. All the media, just
Yeah,
a bunch of parasites.
right.
I was looking on, speaking about social media, I was looking on Instagram earlier, and now the left is saying that the officer shot that lady because she was gay, a lesbian.
How does he know?
That's the fucking question I try
Yeah,
to answer.
yeah.
Think about that. Like, if it's almost like they're throwing a bait. They threw one bait and seeing if someone's gonna bite on it.
I get
You
it
know what
with
I
a
mean?
guy. They usually have a lisp, but
It's fucked up, dude. I hope I don't get shot for it.
no,
Uh,
I'm just saying. But
But I'm
I'm
also
just
not gonna drive into if someone pulls me over. If a cop pulls me over, I'm not gonna drive away.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was educated better than to, that's we have due process in this country. You know what I mean? If someone's gonna pull me over and drag me out of my car for whatever reason, if I was in that situation, and
yeah.
let's say,
But here's the argument, right? The due process has been thrown out the window with ICE,
well,
right? To a
yes and
certain
no,
extent.
right? When you're a U.S. citizen, right, and you have a little bit of capital, you can lawyer up, and you can milk a little bit of capital out of ICE.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but you can't expect every citizen to react the way it is. Again, we're getting into the whole thing about this,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and
No,
and
I'm just
and
saying what I would have done.
the point here is that let the investigate, like have a fair investigation
Hmm.
into stuff. Let the investigators and the courts do their thing. Why do you have to divide
Yeah.
the country on every single thing?
It's because
It's not. It's not. It's not.
that's what the media does.
That's un-American.
What does the media live by, right? Off of it, they live off of views,
Right.
and the more controversy the topic is, the more disturbing the topic is, and the more dividing that the topic is, the more views they get.
Right.
Because you're gonna have, let's look at CNN and Fox, right? CNN predominantly left, Fox predominantly right, right? CNN is gonna say some bullshit, and you're gonna have this massive viewership. Then Fox is gonna respond to that bullshit, and then you're gonna have this massive bullshit. Then CNN viewership, then CNN is gonna respond to the Fox, and it's an ongoing thing. It's
Right.
been going on for a couple days now. It's gonna continue going
Yeah.
because that's what the media does, right? They're based on viewerships.
Yeah.
I'm sure they make money too. And the guy have to.
Yeah.
They don't do that shit for free.
You want to give a message to the media?
No, I want to mind my own business.
I guess we gave
I
enough of a
I
message.
don't have a message
Yeah.
for no one. I'm just like, dude, I'm just a dude that likes to look at shit and talk about it.
With a microphone and a camera.
Well, that's a new thing. This is before. This is a new, right?
Yeah.
I used to do the same shit without a camera and mic.
Right.
Now I just have a camera and mic.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey man, you'd be surprised how many people want to listen, right?
maybe. You never know. Everyone has different views, different opinions. Um, this is my view. This is my opinion. It's your view. It's your opinion. And whoever's listening to this might have different views. Might agree. Might disagree. But that's you know, you kind of it's conversation at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not about you can't opinions can never be justified.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the way I've always looked at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the saying, right? A bee is never going to argue with a fly that honey is better than shit. Right? You ever heard that saying?
Yeah.
Okay. But now let's look at it reversed, right? A fly can say the same shit. It's a preference and opinion, and the argument will never end. It'll be just a back and forward, back and forward, back and forward.
And you'll never please everyone.
No.
You can't.
No, that's why, like with Greenland, right? Some people agree, some people disagree. Some people just want to see a diplomatic approach towards it. But then you got to look at the reality of things too. Can we diplomatically go and control Greenland? Is it possible? Right? It takes two people to get a deal done, and if Denmark is not on board, then that's out of the picture.
Well, maybe the people of Greenland are on board.
Maybe
Not.
I
I
think
mean,
they're
they're
having a
not.
meeting, right?
They're February
Yeah.
3rd. They had one in November. Basically, they're having a meeting how how to have a conversation with the Trump
Well, I
administration.
mean, Greenland people already wanted to be independent from Denmark.
I mean, over time since
Hmm.
'79, they become more and more and more independent.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know the exact mileage and distance, but aren't we a bit closer to Greenland than Denmark is?
No, they're close.
We're closer.
Yeah, they're close. Yeah,
Not if we take
but
Canada.
51st and 50, we could jump, right?
I don't think that'll happen. It could though. You
Yeah.
never know. There's been talks about that
It's
too.
it should be, look, I said this before, I said this about Venezuela. It should be for the benefit of the people, right?
Hmm.
And I know they say this every time, and I know the stereotypical, conversation that the opposition always has. Well, it's never for the benefit of the people, and they
Yeah.
always reference places like Iraq, other places where we've been involved or semi-involved, Libya or whatnot, and they're like, well, they turn into shitholes afterwards, right? But this every scenario isn't the same, right? Iraq is one of those forever wars, and maybe the approach was wrong,
Or maybe the leadership was wrong.
right?
You know,
Right,
we're also looking at Bush. Now we have Trump.
all right.
Different approach. Like, uh, what it took, what 3 to 4 hours take over Venezuela. Not just take over Venezuela. We flew in, took their leader and his wife.
Yeah,
Came back without a single American casualty.
yeah, and very minimal. I think mostly it was Cuban and
Hmm.
Venezuelan soldiers, and they're claiming like two or three civilians, but that's pretty clean in my eyes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't how Iraq went.
No,
You know what I mean? So
no,
maybe we have a different leadership,
right.
and our Secretary of State is different. Our Secretary of War is different back then, Secretary of Defense. But we have different leaders,
Yeah.
and it maybe with Greenland is gonna be different.
Time will tell.
Yeah,
Time will tell,
that's all we
and
got.
all we could do is wish for the best. Best for people of
Hmm.
Venezuela, people of Greenland, America, and America's allies. That's what we're.
If we have any left, we might not have any allies left.
Sometimes people in desperate needs, they need
Hmm.
allies. So
It it
who
does
knows?
seem like America's becoming a bully.
Hmm.
It does seem that way,
Right,
but I don't think we are.
right,
I think it's strength through power.
right.
It's what I really think it is. I don't think we might seem like we're a bully.
Or peace through strength.
Peace, was it peace? I thought it was strength through power. No,
No, no,
was
no.
it peace through strength?
They've been saying peace through strength. That's
is
what
that
they've been
is that
saying.
what it was? That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
yeah.
Peace through strength. Maybe that's. I guess you do have power through strength,
True, true.
but maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that kind of touches back on my own history.
Hmm.
Sikh history. The Sikh Empire. Sikhs in general were mostly proud to say, hey, as a collective, we've never enslaved people.
Hmm.
We've never committed mass genocides, of innocent people and things like that. Um, you know, we've never conquered unnecessary territory. So
Hmm.
one example of that is the Sikh Empire, which was short-lived from 1799 to 1849. Sorry, yeah, 1799 to 1849, and during that period, they had to conquer certain areas. And one of the areas they conquered was the Khyber Pass.
Hmm.
And the Khyber Pass is a region that goes through the Hindu Kush mountain range where a lot of invaders from Alexander to the Mughals when they first came, to the Persians, to the Afghans, and during that time it was mostly the Afghans that would come through that way.
Hmm.
So there was a famous general, General Hari Singh Nalua, who basically conquered that part of the world, and he did its expansion for the better, for the invaders to stop coming.
Hmm.
And the reason for that, and a lot of those invaders would come, kill, take slaves and go back,
Hmm.
and the idea was to stop that, to stop innocent people being hurt. So, it's expansion and growing of nations, of kingdoms. It's not necessarily always bad,
Hmm.
because people like to make that thing like, hey, you're being bullies, you're being this. If there's a strong reason behind it, in this scenario, it's a defense reason
Hmm.
again, and also economic reason, not only for Americans but also people of Greenland and America's allies as well. So maybe this is the way to go. But it's the approach is what I was more concerned about, how to go about it.
I've always been fascinated, from the conversations I've had with you that the Mongols, they did so much evil stuff to your people.
The Mughals,
The
which were the
Moguls,
descendants of
yeah.
the Mongols.
But the way, you would say that, in different cultures, right? When you have an invader, that the generations past that invader is hated for the generations to come. But you seem like you guys have a different approach.
Mhm.
It's almost like you guys don't hate, you know?
Yeah, the idea is not to hate.
Mhm.
That was never taught by the Sikh gurus. In fact, one example of the 10th guru, or as guru in the context of, you know, humans is or in different cultures is like a teacher, like
Mhm.
how they have the movie Love Guru and things. But in the Sikh context, guru is perfection,
Mm.
and guru is essentially a prophet genius, right? And so the 10th guru, Guru Gobind Singh, he was very well known to carry whenever he can. He had the resources and accessibility to carry golden tipped uh, arrows,
Mhm.
because the idea behind it was that when when he would fire these against enemies per se, um and that would kill someone,
Mhm.
that part of the world during that time, the soldiers were the breadwinners of the family, and they would, during after the battle cleared, they would pick up um the dead,
Mhm. The bodies.
the bodies, and the families would come pick
Mhm.
up the bodies. And when they would come pick them up, they had this gold that they could survive off of for a few weeks, for a few months, because the soldier, the breadwinner, was dead. And the idea behind it was that Guru Gobind Singh Ji, he didn't see any enemies, he didn't see hate, and the fight was for righteousness, is for truth, right? Is for justice. Bigger concept. There was no concept of revenge,
Yeah.
right? In the Sikh tradition, there is no concept of revenge, and that's why the right wing extremist Muslims of that time, from the Persians to the Mughals to the Afghans, what they did with Sikhs and people of, the Punjab and the Indian subcontinent, it was never taken personal.
Mhm.
But at the same time, the answer was given to them
Yeah.
with means of defense and power.
It's almost like they did what they had to do, but they didn't wanna leave generations of casualties,
Right.
right? Financial hardship, and then, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
No one does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not at least not that I know of.
Right.
Not any empire, not any, because that was almost in a way like a financial or a wealth loss for the Punjabi people, right?
Right.
Leaving all that gold behind.
Right.
Considering the prices of gold today, it's that's a lot of money, you
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely. It's again a bigger concepts,
Mhm.
concepts of like, hey, it's another one example I wanted to give is during battles, when the 10th guru was going through battles, there was an individual, his name was Pai Kanaya,
Mhm.
and he would go into battle, and he would serve water to both the Sikhs that were fighting on the battlefield and the Mughal
Mhm.
troops, right? And then, everyone's fighting really hard. And then some of the Sikhs, they came and complained to the Guru. And the Guru said, hey, bring him to me, right? And he asked him, hey, Kanaya, is this right? Are you giving water to the enemy? He's like, he's like, my Guru. He's like, the thing is, I don't see an enemy. I see wounded and I see people that are in need, that are close to death. And I see it on all over the battlefield. And the guru goes, keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right path.
That's
And he
amazing.
and he sends him back. So that's like the
And
first.
who was this individual that was giving the water?
He was a Sikh,
Just
and
a regular, no,
just a
yeah.
regular Sikh, and his name was Pai Kanaya.
Mhm.
And some people say, hey, that was the early forms of the Red Cross. you
That's
know.
crazy. Yeah,
So it's very interesting stories.
that's fascinating.
Yeah, and they were documented by the Mughals, the British, and so on.
They need to make movies about this.
It's rich stuff, man.
It is.
Yeah,
It's a short history, but at least knowing you,
yeah,
I'm fascinated by it because I know more stories than you've shared here today.
right.
From knowing you for the past few years. But it's amazing. I think there should be movies made out of it.
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
I
One
think
day,
I think Americans would get a kick out of it.
if there's any American directors listening,
Assistant producer right here.
there you go. There you go. History background.
Not in that region. That's for
Well, I
sure.
know, but you
To
know how
to
to
be to
study
be
it, though.
honest, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't know about, I've seen like the first time I even heard the word or even seen the word Punjab
Hmm.
is I went to buy a truck out of California,
Yeah.
a box truck, and I was driving through Northern California, and I saw this billboards everywhere
Mhm.
with Punjabi signs and people, and I was, I didn't looked into it. That was
Yeah.
before I knew you,
Yeah.
and then I met you one night.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
mean,
so what I'm trying to say is that I didn't know about it, and I
yeah,
guarantee you that a lot of people don't know the difference either.
they don't. They
And
don't.
it's
Yeah. I mean, often mistaken for
mhm,
other part of the world, usually Middle East, often mistaken for another religion,
mhm,
which Sikhs are independent, standalone faith.
yeah,
And funny thing you mentioned California is California is the first place that Punjab is a region,
mhm,
and is where they settled um, um, over 100 years ago.
mhm,
And the first Gurdwara, the Sikh religious center, was established in I think 1908 or 1911 in
mhm.
Stockton, California. So that's how far back Sikh roots are, and that's why California has a lot of Punjabis or Sikhs in general.
Hmm. Vadia.
There you go. There you go.
I learned a thing or two.
Uh,
What
You're
was it? Ki Hao Chow?
yeah,
The
yeah. That means how are you
yeah.
doing? Yeah,
It's
that's
it's
good,
a
man.
it's a different, difficult language.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
you know,
They say English is a difficult
it
language.
was easy for me to learn.
I think we were kids. That's why.
Yeah, it could be. My dad's been here just as long as I have, and he doesn't know shit in English.
Exactly. Ask your dad to spell tsunami.
Oh, he does.
He'll start with the S.
Yeah.
And when you tell him it's a T, he's like, "What is this bullshit?" That's how my dad is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe we came here young and yeah, it was easy.
yeah,
We also been, like when immigrants come here, they're surrounded by different more immigrants and from their culture.
right,
But we came here as kids, so you got to look at this. Our parents hung out with immigrants from their culture,
correct.
but we got put into public schools.
Hmm.
So we didn't have a choice. Like how many Punjabi do you know at your school?
One.
Yeah, same thing. I was the only Moldovan, and I've never even met a Moldovan in my schools.
Really?
Yeah, the only time I've met a Moldovan is as an adult,
And where's this? Vegas?
in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you had Russians, you had Ukrainians, you had Romanians, but, because we're such a small population too, we're extremely small,
All right.
a very small country.
Right.
So it's hard to encounter another Moldovan, especially in America, especially back in I came here in early 2000s. My dad came here in the 90s.
Yeah.
Back then, it was difficult to come from Moldova to the United States.
Mhm.
You couldn't just jump on a plane and come, right? You needed to have a reason
All right.
why your visa would have been open and accepted. And for me, my dad was a circus performer, in Ringling. You know Ringling?
Right.
Yeah,
Wrangling
the
Brothers.
brothers. Yeah,
Yep.
they're the ones that actually invited my dad into the United States.
Wow.
Yeah,
In the 90s.
yeah,
Wow.
because it was really hard to find really
Now I
good.
see where you get your talent from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a circus performer myself for a
Right.
long time until COVID hit,
Yeah.
fucked it all up.
Yeah. Oh,
I got
COVID
into
fucked up a
trucking.
lot of things.
Well, it fucked up my hairline. I'll tell you that much.
Turkish hairlines, bro. You got to
Turkish
ride
hair-
the Turkish hairlines.
Okay, that's funny, but yeah, that's what happened. COVID came and destroyed the entertainment industry, and I had to pivot.
Yeah.
And like any other immigrant, I pivoted in the trucking industry, which is a high stress industry.
Oh yeah.
And just like that, boom, hairline
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. bet. You have Turkey for bet.
Exactly. Istanbul.
One day. It's a
Yeah,
good vacation spot over there too.
it is.
They have all inclusive resorts. You ever been to one of those?
Not there. I mean, I've been there a
Hmm.
couple of times, but not to the exclusive resorts.
Dude,
It's
I
one of my
love.
favorite destinations in
It's
the world.
nice. I like all inclusive because you pay one fee and that you have a card. You know what I mean? Some have a card, some have a little like a scanner bracelet. It depends on the resort,
Yeah,
but everything is included: your drinks, your food, your stay. You just you don't give a shit.
yeah,
You go there for a week and you do whatever you want, and you come back.
right.
You know, and it's kind of nice. It's a bit more expensive, but it's
It's cheap now.
now it is.
I was there about a year and a half ago or something.
I mean, it's always been cheap,
Yeah.
relatively to the things we do. Like if you're gonna compare a vacation in Hawaii
Mhm.
or one in Turkey,
Oh man, I was
fuck,
just in
dude,
Hawaii.
it's
Hawaii's expensive, man.
that's what I'm saying. For the same
Yeah.
amount of money, for the amount of money you would spend in a week in Hawaii, you can live in Turkey for a month
Yep.
in an all inclusive resort.
Yeah.
You know,
Probably true.
including the flights.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and and your hairline. I think they do veneers too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do a whole package. Yeah, it's so funny. Whenever I'm leaving over there,
You
you
always
see
see
you see
them.
guys with bandages on their heads.
See, I've never been to Turkey from America. I've always been from Moldova to Turkey. Usually, Moldovan people don't care about their hairlines, and they can't afford hairlines, so they come back from a vacation.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious to go.
What's the airline called?
What?
Trome?
Oh, the Romanian
Oh
one, terrible,
man,
man.
that one's scary, man. Cause
You
I
know,
was in Romania and then we went from Romania to Turkey and that was a scary. It's
it's an
kind
old
of
school
scary.
plane.
Yeah, yeah, old school.
They can't afford to lose a plane. Those planes, they're like Spirit Airlines.
Also, they're the safest.
Yeah, because you
Cause
can't afford to lose one or go out of business. That's why Spirit is safe.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they can't afford to lose a plane, so they got to make sure it lands.
Oh man, that's too funny.
It's always Spirit Airlines, man.
Yeah, the thing with
Like you're in a bleacher seat every time
right,
you fucking fly with them.
right. 10th grade, man, world history class. That's what really got me. My teacher, he was really
Mhm.
good. The way he explained, that's what really got me started into history, world history. And I remember learning about the Byzantine Empire.
Mm.
And then there was like a little song, like Istanbul. No, it was like Constantinople, Istanbul, something
Mhm.
like that. I forgot how it goes. And then I always wanted to kind of study that part of the world and visit because it was when ancient East met ancient West.
Mhm.
It's just fascinated to me. And when I went there, I had some Turkish friends. I told them, I'm like, man, you bastards lucked out, man. You have some of the best real estate in the world. It's so pretty, man.
It is.
Yeah,
It's Turkey is a big vacation spot for Eastern Europe.
yeah,
Because Eastern Europe, you can't go a lot of places. It's a very poor region,
hmm,
and Turkey,
weather's pretty great.
it's great. It's close.
Yeah,
Every time. I mean, most of the planes that fly. I mean, you have your British Airways. You fly through. You can go through. Britain. You can go through. Germany. But most destinations, most airlines to get to your destination in Eastern Europe, you're gonna fly through Turkey. Turkish Airlines is a very popular airline and very good. They got good food on it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I used to love traveling, man. I haven't traveled since COVID.
Well, you also got a family now, so
Yeah, I also got a family, so now a ticket is
yeah,
multiply it by 4 for me.
yeah.
It's not. It's a different, but even regardless of that, like
Investing in Greenland will help.
yeah, well, and the companies that are going to be mining
That's what
the
I
rare
mean.
minerals,
That's what I mean.
I've been looking at a few of them. I'm not gonna say them,
Not yet.
not yet. I want to
Yeah.
make sure they'll hit,
All right.
but then it'll be too late.
Yeah.
I'll cash out. It is what it is. But yeah. Anyways, I think we're running out of time. What time
Yeah.
is it?
I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we've done. I don't know. Shit, we did good, man.
Yeah.
Did over an hour. I
Pretty
think
good.
so.
Pretty good.
All right,
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, you want to do the closing? Get it?
yeah,
You-
I just want to say like and subscribe, man. This is there's a lot of research that goes into these, and a lot of energy and effort that goes into this. You guys could like and subscribe. Join the Instagram page, Chronicles and Customs. official.
Is it Chronicles and Custom? Because I was trying to show a guy last night the YouTube
Yeah,
page,
yeah.
and I typed in Chronicles and Customs official, and nothing was coming out.
the, the YouTube is just Chronicles and Customs. It'll pop up.
Are you sure it'll pop up?
It will pop up, and
You
then
you know what? Let's do
the
this. Our
the
tech is gonna put a link at the bottom of this video.
yeah,
You just click on it, it'll take you to the YouTube.
and the Instagram
Well,
page.
but not it'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, the Instagram page Chronicles and Customs official will
Mhm.
have the YouTube link on it.
I think we have a TikTok too.
Yeah, we
What's
have a
that one?
TikTok.
Chronicles and Customs.
We'll put it in there.
You don't even know. Heck,
Hey
what
man,
is
we're
it?
new to this, so
Is
we'll
it
figure it
Chronicles
out.
and Custom official? To be decided. Our tech doesn't know. I think it's Chronicles and Customs
All right,
official.
let's end it here. We'll get
All
the
right.
next one.
Let's get it.